everyone. Welcome back to yet another session of Education to Home, an initiative of Bhavans Middle East in association with Janam TV. Last episode, we discussed in detail the Class 11 Computer Science syllabus, unit-wise, how to prepare and how to learn to write efficient program. In today's session, we'll discuss the syllabus of Class 12 Computer Science and tips to score excellent marks. I'm Sridevi. Along with me is Mrs. Asha Ebi, HOD, Computer Science Department of Indian Education School, and Mrs. Anjali. Computer science subject for higher secondary students deepens their critical thinking as it empowers the students to grasp abstract and complex ideas and transform them into real-life applications. It is also an important field as computer and technology have been virtually integrated in various economic sectors, industries, and organizations operating in modern economy. Also, computer in education enhances students' mathematical knowledge, critical thinking, and their problem-solving skills. Now let's hear from Asha ma'am, the Class 12 Computer Science syllabus in detail and tips to score well in CBSE board examination.
Computer science taught in grade 11 and 12 forms the base for higher education, especially for those who wants to pursue a career in this field. Although it is a scoring subject, students often find it hard to get good marks. The reason for the same can be lack of information or poor study plan. Not to worry, we will guide you on how to prepare for the exam. Students who want to score high marks in the board examination must have a thorough understanding of the CBSE syllabus. 2022-23 session, CBSE syllabus has got 3 units. Unit 1 is computational thinking and programming, which has all of Python topics that you have learned in grade 11 and 12. Unit 2 is computer networks and Unit 3 is database management. Once students are clear with the CBSE syllabus, they are advised to check the mark distribution, which would help them to prepare a proper study plan. Computer science carries a total of 100 marks, out of which 70 marks are for the theory paper and 30 marks are kept for the practical examination. Practical examination is conducted under the supervision of an external examiner. Students need to prepare well even for the practical examination. Now, let's see the mark distribution in the theory paper. Unit 1, computational thinking and programming, 40 marks. Unit 2, computer networks, 10 marks. And Unit 3, database management, 20 marks. Solving sample papers and previous year board questions help the students to know the kind of questions that can be asked in the exam. For CBSE syllabus, sample paper and previous year board question papers, students must visit cbseacademic.nic.in. Pattern for this year's exam is completely different. For the first time, assertion reasoning questions will be asked in the exam. Now, let us see the type and number of questions in the paper. In total, there are 35 questions. Paper is divided into 5 sections. Section A has 18 1-mark questions. Section B, 7 2-mark questions. Section C, 5 3-mark questions. Section D, 3 5-mark questions. And Section E, 2 4-mark questions. Please note, internal choice have been given for question numbers 20, 24, 25, 27, 30, 33 and 34.
Ma'am, even after knowing in detail the syllabus and the questions and the sample paper, going through the sample papers, some students find it difficult to complete the paper on time. What would be your advice on such situations?
You're right. Time management is an important factor to score high marks in the CBSE exam. Let me just brief you regarding time strategy for answering computer science paper. I would recommend that you spend 3 minutes for a 1 mark question, 5 minutes for a 2 marks question, 6 minutes for a 3 marks question, 8 minutes for a 4 marks question, and 15 minutes for a 5 marks question. If you follow this strategy, you will easily complete the paper in almost 162 minutes, and you will have 18 minutes to recheck the answers.
I think, ma'am, that was a very detailed explanation on the time strategy. I'm sure the students will benefit from that. Now, could you please elaborate on the type of questions that will be dealt in the question paper?
Sure, Anjali. The type of questions that students will encounter are true, false, fill in the blanks, multiple choice, case-based, assertion and reason, difference or comparison between two entities, predict the output, writing programs using functions, full forms, SQL commands, and database connectivity. During the exam, students need to spend 15 minutes for reading the question paper, that is the initial 15 minutes. There, they should be able to analyze the questions, they should be able to understand which question they are really confident about. Then, they should be able to present the answers neatly. And what we have observed is, especially regarding error finding questions, students often make mistakes. As you all know, in Python, putting a comma in a wrong place will end up with a wrong answer. So you should be very specific in reading, in identifying the errors in the question paper, for which you need to practice as many questions as possible. That's very important. Now, another mistake students often make is regarding predicting the output questions. There, our advice is that, like how you solve maths problems, you need to do the rough work. Example, whenever there is a variable defined, p equal to 5, there is a statement, immediately in the rough work you write p equal to 5. Later on, corresponding to any statement, if the value of p changes, strike out the value 5 and write the new one. And again, one more thing is very important regarding the scope of the variable. Children should be able to identify whether the variable p is a global one or a local one. That makes a lot of difference in the answer. Almost in every board question paper, random module based question is asked. A confusion among students is regarding the different methods that are part of random module. In the CBSE syllabus, students need to know the difference between randint, rand range, and random functions. There is only a slight difference between random and rand range function. I will be just explaining it in brief. Random function will be generating a float number which is greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. Rand range of n will generate a random number from 0 to n minus 1, whereas rand int will generate a number from 0 to n. If students are failing in identifying this minute difference, their answer is going to be wrong. But please remember, you must attempt all the questions as there is no negative marking or deduction of marks for writing a wrong answer.
Before we wind up today's episode, let's quickly recap some points that the students need to remember while they prepare for the Computer Science Board examination. Revise the grade 11 topics well, as these will be tested for the board examination. Refer the previous year sample papers, as this will give you a good exposure towards the variety of questions that could be asked in the examination. Practical knowledge is as important as understanding the theoretical concepts. So while you're preparing for the examination and while writing a code, run the code through a compiler to check if there are any minor mistakes that are present in the code written by you. Never try to mug up a piece of code. Understand the logic behind it and practice similar questions which will help to boost your confidence. Students should provide appropriate examples while answering theory-based questions.
Not only that, Anjali, while answering error-finding questions, students are supposed to underline the changes that they are making in the program code.
Wish you all the best for 2023 board examination.
In the next session, we will come up with grade 11 informatics practices. Until then, stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you. Goodbye.